Hey guys, and welcome to ThWildWestGamer with me, ThWildWestGamer, sat here in the gaming grotto, bringing you the second part of my recent PS1 treasure chest. Let's call it the PlayStation 1 treasure trove. That's not going to be easy to say if I'm drunk or if I'm trying to say it quickly, but you know what? Yeah, I found a treasure trove of PlayStation 1 games. This is my review of them. So yeah, guys, I've already done my Lost World Jurassic Park video game review. Said to you that it's a classic. Said it's certainly one you want to pick up. But if you want a game that's a little bit beyond that, a game that's a bit more than just a side-scrolling dinosaur eat 'em up, then you want to get yourself this. Oh yeah, I'll move that close so you can see it. Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain, brought to you by Eidos Interactive and Crystal Dynamics. This game is badass. This is the pinnacle of awesomeness. I want to state right now, I am a massive, massive Soul Reaver and Legacy of Kain fan. They, for me, are, if not my favourite games, then, literally number 2 after, whatever it is that is sat at the top. But to be fair, these games are so good. Fantastic gameplay, immersive world, incredible acting, voice acting, but it's the story. It's a story in this amazing game that is going to keep you hooked. I mean, we think nowadays we get stories that blow our minds. This game just goes beyond that. This game deals with everything. It deals from the themes are so massive. It's about free will versus and self-determination versus fate. It is good versus evil. It is about morality. It's about kinship. It's about brotherhood. It's about gods and demons. It's about I've said morality. It's about servants and kings. It's about everything. It's such a massive game, and it deals with so many life and death. It's about just such big things. And for a PlayStation 1 game to try and deal with these themes in a in a game like this, it just shows you how high they're aiming. Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Interactive, how high they are trying to set the bar. And they really achieve it. The dialogue in this game is like nothing you'll ever hear. It's like a gothic Shakespearean play. It's just fantastic. Fantastic descriptions within dialogue. Just the voice work is so great. Kain and Raziel both are icons of this era of gameplay. They stand out for me as being two of the most brilliantly realized characters ever. Not just in video games, ever. They are so good. You play as Raziel in Soul Reaver. You played as Kain in Legacy of Kain. This is set hundreds of years after Kain's choice to basically submit Nosgoth, the land where they live, to a slow and degenerated fall from beauty. For those of you who don't know the story, I'll just give you a very, very brief overview. Essentially, there is this land called Nosgoth, this world called Nosgoth. In Nosgoth, there are men and there are demons and there are vampires and there are angels, all working behind the scenes clandestinely to, gain dominance over the world. Kain, a nobleman, is murdered and resurrected as a vampire. He finds out he is something called he's basically a being of balance. He has the choice to either save the land or doom it. By saving it, he must sacrifice himself. In choosing not to do that, he allows the land to fall into decay, and by that, vampires take over, and he rules as their master. This is a very brief overview. If someone's watching going, what the fuck's this guy on about? I'm trying to give everyone sort of a catch-up. Kain resurrects, a handful of men as his his children in a way, and they become his chosen vampires who lead their own clans and sects of vampirism. And his first lieutenant is Raziel. Now, vampires over time grow new gifts like telekinesis, like swimming, like climbing, sheer, walls, stuff like that. Sort of become, very, it's rather ambiguous as to whether these are demonic or angelic gifts, but they grow more powerful over time. Kain always does it first, being the head of the vampires, and then his lieutenants do it, and then their clans do it. Raziel does it first, growing a pair of wings, and then this sets the course of the game. Kain rips them from his back, casts Raziel into the well of souls, which is essentially this spinning vortex down into the underworld. Vampires being weak to water, this hurts a lot. When Raziel reaches the bottom after hundreds of years have passed, he finds he's a ruined wraith. He no longer has a body, he's just a soul, but he is saved by the elder god, who is bitter and angry and resents Kain for the fact that vampires stop the wheel of life turning. Because vampires are souls within dead bodies, those souls never are able to go to the Well of Souls, never are able to go to the Elder God, and are never able to make the transition from life to death to rebirth. The wheel stops, Nosgoth is then left in ruin. So you see how the events of Legacy of Kain and Kain's choice not to save the land affects number 2. And likewise, these choices all then go on to Soul Reaver 2, then Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2, then Legacy of Kain Defiance. Massive arc of storytelling there. But you pick up as Raziel, swears vengeance upon Kain and his brothers who betrayed him, and then you're let loose into Nosgoth after its decline and the couple of hundred years since his execution. And it's fantastic. It's brilliant. I mean, playing as Raziel is something you'll never, you remember it forever. Raziel is, he's agile, he's quick, he's fast. He has a sense of power. He can't die, in a sense. Well, he can and he can't. Raziel has 2 forms. Raziel has his spirit form, in which he exists within the spirit world, a twisted, distorted version of the material world, the living world, in which when he gets to these certain portals, he can summon the energy to give him a corporeal body, and then he can fight and interact and walk around the real world. When his health, dissipates, once it's gone in the real world, his soul drifts back into the land of the dead, where he then, must fight the creatures of the spectral realm, such as these other sort of, discarded wraiths and sort of these, basically aggressive spirits, these predatory spirits who prey on the weaker spirits. And then if you're destroyed there, then his soul completely is disintegrated. But as you can see, the game gives you a fairly wide amount of sort of life to avoid that. If you manage to die in the spirit world, you're not doing it right. Raziel is the Soul Reaver. Hey, the title, right? He's essentially the Soul Reaver. He absorbs souls. He consumes the souls of the dead and the fallen to give him energy. Likewise, he also becomes master of the Soul Reaver. The Soul Reaver is this corporeal spectral blade, which is badass. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Essentially, this game is great. It's fantastic. It's the whole Gothic setting is it's just immersive. That's what it is. From the Gothic environment to the Gothic, the Gothic Shakespearean, sort of Dark Age talk, through to the characterizations. It's fantastic. It's so good. You just can't put it down. You really can't. You just you play from start to finish, and once you get to the end, you're like, I gotta find out what happens, man. And then you'll go out and buy Soul Reaver 2, and you'll buy Blood Omen 2, and then you'll buy Defiance, which is the final of the Pent trilogy, I guess. Yeah, Pent trilogy. Pentangle being 5-sided. So 5 games, and I guess so. Yeah, Pen trilogy. Yeah, it's just a really good game, and you're going to love it. The reason I love it is because the vampires in this is a really new take on vampires. The idea of them gaining gifts, the way they look, they no longer look fully human. They look very different. Raziel and the lieutenants remain some of their humanity, the way they look, but they have clawed hands, clawed feet. The way they dress, even the colour of their skin. Vampires are pale, but they're kind of sickly pale. There's this idea to them that their human bodies really can't exist like this, and that's why they gain these abilities to slowly change into what Kain looks like. Kain does not look human. Kain has sort of got this sort of reptilian, sort of scaly like body. It's like scales, but scales sort of like if they were pulled taut, like muscle. It's a really original design. There ain't no fucking sparkling, alright, in this game. The vampires in this ain't pussies. This ain't Twilight. These are hardcore vampires. Even Blade would have a fucking trouble taking these guys on. The combat in this game is really cool. You're going to be fighting the different the different vampires of the world. Since Raziel's fall, the land has fallen even further into a degenerated post-apocalyptic landscape, essentially, and the vampire clans have also degraded and now become more animalistic. So you'll be fighting different versions. Some are like spiders, some are like demonic mermaids, some are like mini tanks, some are like zombies. Really cool. What's really nice is they're all vampires, but they almost also take different roles from like mythological folklore beasts like zombies, werewolves-ish, sort of different things like that. Vampires can be killed by impaling them, setting them on fire, pushing them into sunlight. So you'll be using the environment as well, which is really cool. Likewise, when you get the Soul Reaver, then you're just owning motherfuckers. But it's there's still the option there to use weapons. Exploring Nosgoth is a blast. It's just this massive world. You go everywhere from the ruins of Kain's Keep, the underworld, the spirit world. You have the Well of the Dead. You've got the like this cathedral setting, these tombs, graveyards. Everything. You're also going to encounter the last surviving humans, and you can interact with them. Regarding how you interact with them depends on how they will see you. You can either rip their souls out and feast on them, or you can sip at their souls, which means you just take a little bit of their soul energy to recuperate yourself. They ain't gonna mind that. If you start killing them though, they'll see you as just as much a bane to them as the vampires, and they'll hunt you down. But you can become an avenging angel figure to them, and that's cool. In a game that's this old, to have that sort of very light morality system is a really nice touch. But there ain't no mistaking it. Raziel is definitely an anti-hero. He's in this to wipe out Kain and Kain alone. He wants Kain. He wants him dead. This is really the big theme of this is betrayal, and it is Kain. Kain is so likable, man. He's just this. He's like the Joker. Complete shitface. But you can't help but like him. You just like him. He's, it's something likable about Kain. It's the way he talks, the way he justifies everything, the way that he makes you feel that there is a bigger plan at play here, and that Raziel is just a pawn, and maybe what happened to Raziel was necessary. Things like this. It is a really, really, really deep game, and you're going to love it. If you love, anything with a really good, enriching storyline, get this game. Don't even second think it. Just get it. If you've got a GameCube, you can get this with the GameCube with updated graphics. It looks a little bit nicer. And yeah, it's really weird actually. I've watched a couple reviews on this in the past. Hearing people go, oh god, I can't wait to see what this is like on the GameCube, man, it's going to look so sweet. And you're thinking, you can't wait to see, fucking hell, we've got a reboot of this. There's a reboot, yes people, if you like Soul Reaver, you're going to love this. There is a reboot apparently happening to bring back Soul Reaver. And yeah, it should be interesting. I've heard some worrying reports it's going to be a multiplayer only game. Not sure how that's going to work. Personally, this game for me has always been about the single player. There is no multiplayer at all to any of the Soul Reaver or Legacy of Kain games. It is all about the story. So a big single player, next gen iteration of the series, love it. Really would love it. Love to see what they do. And as long as they get the voice actors back for Raziel and Kain, I'm a happy bunny. So guys, thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you're going to go out and buy this now. If you're looking for it, you probably find it for about £5, maybe a little bit more. Remember, this is a very, very good classic, so you're going to have to be willing to part with a little bit more moolah than you normally would. But you're getting a classic, right? So you can't really be too picky. So guys, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take it easy and see you later. Bye bye.